Shalom, friends, and welcome to a very special episode of Resubbed, a World of Warcraft podcast for the casual player. My name is Raymond. It is November 15th, a brisk, crisp autumn morning. The leaves are falling. I feel bad. There's a guy that came out that raked our leaves because we have a rental property. And so there's a guy that does the leaf raking. He literally spent so much time and effort, and it was spotless. When he was done, he did a fantastic job. And then literally this morning,
it was
like he was never here. Like he didn't even show up.
And the other come every day.
And the other voice you're hearing is, of course, my podcast partner and partner in crime as well. This is Miss Michelle. Hey, Michelle, I hear we got a new sponsor going on for this episode, but it's a sponsor that's been around for a while, but looks like they've updated some of their inventory. So let's hear about it.
Yes. So this person is a blast from the past. Her name is Marris Stead, and she is a socialite that you can find in World's End Tavern, which is in the lower part of Shadowlands City. Now, Marris Stead is a blood elf vendor who used to just sell one item, and that was someone just got the achievement, my sack is gigantic. So I think that's why people are here.
This is an official Shadowlands production.
My sack is gigantic. Oh, my sack is gigantic. Yes, my sack is gigantic. Oh, my sack is gigantic. My sack is gigantic. Yes. She used to sell this sack or a bag that was a 22 slot bag for 1,200 gold. Now she has updated her inventory, and she now sells the portable hull, which is a 24 slot bag for 3,000 gold, the gold Eternium band for 3,000 gold, Noble's Eternium signet for 2,400 gold, Noble's Eternal Elementium signet, which is a toy, sapphire pinky ring, a black diamond ring, and then the eternal black diamond ring, which is also a toy. Now, both toys, the first one was 3,000 gold. The eternal black diamond ring is 5,000 gold. I don't know about you guys, but I collect toys, so I'm going to purchase these as well as the portable hull. I'm not sure if there's an achievement for this, but I'm going to try it out. So if you guys are into collecting old school items or even toys, head on down to Shadowlands City, World's End Tavern, and bonus, sometimes you'll find the Tauren Chieftains band playing randomly for like a few seconds, and then they disappear. So might as well come on down and check it out. I'm going to purchase the portable hull right now.
A lot to unpack in that advertisement there, Michelle. Number one takeaway is that Michelle willing to put down good gold to buy portable holes. Second thing is, how old do you feel that you feel like you have to explain Marris Stead that name? That when that NPC was put in, you just had to mention like, oh, that's, and you just say it to anybody who never ever played WoW, but just for the time, like, oh, Marris Stead, that's funny. We know what that means. Now you got to explain this whole story to an entire generation of people who are just like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Who's
Marris Stead? Her dog is here, by the way.
Oh, really?
Tinkerbell. Yeah,
you know what?
Tinkerbell is here with her.
I think I just realized what those items actually do. I think they sparkle. And I think they're different color sparkles. That's why you have different, like an Elementium one, and then what's the other one that you said?
I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy this Eternal Black Diamond ring, and I'm gonna wear it right now.
But they do a thing where like your finger will sparkle, or it'll do that effect, that ding, that like bling effect.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, no,
I'm talking about right. Anywho, why not that? Michelle, dude, special episode for a reason. This is episode number 10. We've made it to
awesome.
a modest but significant milestone nonetheless. I think it deserves for us, dude. Like, look at us. making a podcast like we're somebody. But yeah, so thank you so much, all we listeners so far that have been sticking to us since episode 1 or maybe a little bit above that. But we appreciate it. This is definitely a labor of love for me and Michelle, and it's a lot of fun to do. But it's also kind of nice that we've hit like a thing. So I feel like it's got legs now. You know what I mean?
Milestone.
It's taking off on its own. Like, so before this was just us messing around. Now we're really gonna like turn up the heat on the old podcast duties, since we're committed now. With that said, we teased it a few episodes ago, but we are getting closer, if not almost there, to selling some t-shirts. We have some apparel that is going to be available for sale with our Resubbed logo on it. So we have a couple designs in mind. Robert and Michelle have been working diligently on that, and I'm not artistic, guys. I'm just a pretty face and a loud mouth. That's what you're gonna get from me. These guys do all the awesome work and stuff like that for the tangibles. So Michelle, do you want to say anything about that? We're gonna have a modeling session soon, finally.
Yes,
she and I, we're gonna be taking pictures together, distantly and with masks, by the way, people. We have to be responsible.
Yeah.
But we are gonna be showing off our new shirts. I'm excited. This is the first time in my life I get to wear a shirt of something that I'm doing.
That you
That's
actually,
so cool.
yeah,
so cool.
So
Why not that?
Our shirts are pretty awesome, actually. We have a couple of designs, mainly because of Shadowlands that's coming out. But I did have an idea. I was going to kind of throw it out there to the listeners. If there's a specific design that they liked or they like when it comes to World of Warcraft, whether it's classic or anything World of Warcraft, hit us up, send us an email, let us know. And I'm sure Robert can put something together. We can do like a contest of some sort too. And that person, whoever designs that shirt, can get one for free.
Gets a free shirt.
Yeah.
That's I love getting, by the way, I love getting free shirts. Any kind of volunteer event that has to do with like work stuff and you get a free shirt out of it, I'm all about it.
Or like the conventions that you go to.
Donating blood. Sometimes you get a free shirt out of it. Conventions. Yeah. Good free shirts. I love a free shirt. A free shirt. Those are my favorite house shirts. They invariably become the shirt that I wear all the time. Shirts? Yeah, pajama shirts. And those are my favorite shirts.
Yeah.
Don't ever sleep on a free t-shirt, people. Like, I don't know if you're it's like, it's not my style. I'm real. I stay with the trends. I only wear.
Oh no.
No. You get that Red Cross t-shirt.
No. When I get free stuff, Robert's more like
a Wish t-shirt.
Oh, here, do you want this shirt? Like he'll go to the Adobe conventions and he's like, look at this. Like, I don't want it. I'm gonna get rid of it. Like
yeah, I want that corporate t-shirt. You feel that cotton? Do you feel it? That's
he doesn't even like his Patagonia.
Wow.
He got one for free and he doesn't like it. I swear, I think he has two.
So we're just at a place where we can just disregard free clothing now. Is that what's going on? Good. Well,
he just has it's his style. He doesn't
must
like
be
Patagonia.
Nice, Robert. Must be nice. Anyway, hey, we're here to talk about World of Warcraft and stuff has happened. So let's move on to that. Going on right now is finally the Death Rising pre-patch, or I should say pre-expansion launch events going on in-game. So if you don't know what this is, there's actual scripted events happening. There's a lot of cutscenes, a lot more than I thought there would be, which is kind of cool, including a badass one that we're going to talk about. But so this is, you get, as soon as you log in with your character, you get a summons to go to Stormwind to meet with, I think, Greymane. He's just hanging out by the tomb of Varian Wren. It's funny because in the quest, somebody pointed this out on the quest, it very specifically says, come at once, champion, and come alone. And it's like, emphasize the alone. Yeah.
Okay. I'm like,
no, what I'm saying is that you come there, there's like 100 people.
I know. The same NPC. Come alone. And then there's
like people stacked
and
on
it's
top
just
of each
not,
other.
it's Alliance and Horde, right? So you're like,
is it Alliance and Horde?
Yeah.
Is that what I noticed?
Oh my God. Come on. Yes.
Is it? I thought I was gonna ask you. Is like,
no,
is it?
dude, this is like the world event where you both are Alliance and Horde are doing
I
this.
thought Horde had their own. I didn't even realize that there was
Nah, they're
Horde
there.
and Stormwind. No shit.
No, not Stormwind. Sorry. When they do the quests.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. So did somebody get? Do you know? Did somebody get abducted on the Horde side? That's not.
Yeah.
Anduin. So on the Alliance side, and a spoiler alert. We're gonna talk about this anyway.
They actually
really
mention
spoilers.
it. If you read it, it says they mentioned a few people that were abducted. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you get this awesome cinematic. I had heard of the reaction to the cinematic because it got leaked a couple weeks ago, but I hadn't gone out and watched it myself. Finally seeing it in game, it's Anduin is basically setting up a storyline of Shadowlands. Anduin is visiting the tomb of his dad, and Gen is there. And then these, not Valkyr, but they look, at first I thought they were Valkyr, but they look like they're from Maldraxxus.
They're like angels of death.
Yeah, they look like they're from Maldraxxus, and they have that Necrolord kind of aesthetic about them. I'm not sure if they're from the Maw. Maybe they work for the Jailer, because they had those purple chains that came out. The Prince chains.
The change that Sylvanas used.
Yeah. I only want to see you standing in the purple chain. That's the episode title. I got it. Anywho, with that said, they shoot out purple chains on Anduin. Anduin gets yanked up out of nowhere, and then all Gen doesn't try to fight these guys off. Doesn't try to
because he knows
turn into a wolf. He doesn't do anything cool. He just watches this guy get wrapped up in chains and then flown away, and all he says is "Sylvanas, no!" or something like that. Yeah. I'm just like, you couldn't have tried harder to save this guy? Like, maybe can you cast a spell? Can you throw something? You're a werewolf. Can't you help out? Anywho, Anduin's getting abducted in plain sight.
Yeah.
Can Anduin do anything?
But this is something they haven't seen, right? They straight up came out from the sky. So he was probably like, what?
Oh, so it's cloudy. That's right. There's this unnatural cloud formation. Yeah. It's like stormy weather kind of thing. And then the reports of the undead Scourge they're on the move. They're more active. They're showing up in numbers all over the place. You got to go run around to different parts of Eastern Kingdoms, and then you get a summons to go out to Icecrown, of course, because that's where the undead are mostly at. Had you noticed that it's been this way, but had you noticed the sky around Icecrown was my background?
Are you talking to me?
For the video listener.
I already knew that, yeah. Oh, I'm just like...
Because I don't know if anybody... Because if nobody had gone to Icecrown since the pre-patch release, you might not have noticed that the sky has changed. So it's that shattered... It looks like the sky shattered.
Someone said that it looked like orange soda.
Yeah.
In Icecrown, someone mentioned that. They're like, "Oh, I can see that." It kind of looks like
iced coffee when you just add cream to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's swirling, but it's not.
It looks like a pumpkin cold brew coffee. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Have you tried that one?
Oh yeah. Good. Yeah, I love me some of that. But why not that? Specifically at the nexus point where the coffee and the cream meet. That magic area.
Right. It's not like that slow.
I imagine. Like, if you go to, and I mean this in real life, if you somehow were to just go and see the edge of our actual universe, it would just look like coffee and cream mixing. Like, that's, I think it would be the same thing. It's like, oh shit, I didn't have to go all the way out here to see this. I could have just looked at my coffee. Yeah. It's the same thing. Anywho, so the sky is all swirly and cool. You're out over at the Argent's tournament grounds, and so they've got a bunch of it's a little mini quest hub there. There's a little bit of invasion-y stuff going on. Similar to how Oldham looks now with the Black Empire invasions and Veil of Eternal Blossoms. They did that same treatment with Icecrown to a certain degree, with like a resurgence of Scourge, a resurgence of Scourge in Icecrown that are all like level 50s now, so they're of proper end game level content. And then also there is NPCs that spawn, rare ones that spawn every 20 minutes that will drop certain bits of loot and what have you. There's also wrapped up in this Death Rising event a world boss in the form of Nathanos Blightcaller. So that's kind of like the overview of what's going on with that. But Michelle, what are your impressions? What's your best impression of?
So I really liked the cutscene.
Which one?
When Bolvar, when you first start the quest.
Oh yeah.
Like I was super excited about it.
That was cool.
I was like, this is pretty sick. You see they show the orc, they show Orgrimmar, they show Jaina. Like, I don't want to tell. Okay. But if you haven't seen it, there's just like, you have to watch it. It's pretty awesome. Then I'm like, oh, this is exciting. And I first did it on my mage. And she has some like Mythic Plus gear, right? And so when I started it, I was like, oh, this is just catch-up gear for people that don't have the gear, for when Shadowlands is released.
Yes.
So I was kind of disappointed.
Also, mind you, catch-up gear for everybody rolling their alts.
And right. So then what I did was like, okay, so my mage doesn't need this, and I have a few other alts that don't need it as well, like the paladin and
just stuff that you were keeping up with already.
Ones that I was playing with. So the newer alts, I was like, well, this is perfect for me because I was still rocking the 50 gear. Like I don't know 50. But I really love farming the old bosses, the bosses of old. Yeah. Basically, they're bosses that
nostalgia bosses.
They're dead, right? Because we killed them. So that angel of death, the Valkyr dropped them, and it's pretty cool because they're just like this, just like this. It's just awesome. Like you just have to see it. But all the people that are gathering to fight them, you have Horde and Alliance, and depending on what time you go, it's so freaking like there are thousands of people.
Yeah.
Literally trying to kill these things, and it scales. So when you first look at the boss, it shows maybe like 200,000 health or something like that, a random number. I don't remember what it was. But then once we start attacking it, you notice that the health actually scales. So depending on how many people are there fighting the boss, their health will go up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lag. It doesn't matter if you have a good computer because everybody was complaining.
Yeah.
And what they noticed is that every time it was time to like hit the boss, all of Ice Crown, even if you weren't fighting the boss, all of Ice Crown would lag. So that was fun. Like, honestly, I was annoyed by it, but then I was like, this reminds me of the good old days.
Yeah.
When you used to play with a ton of people. And it wasn't bad lag to the point where I was DCing. At least I got a few spells off to kill it, right. to get the
and then you get the credit.
Yeah. My hunter was lucky enough. I did not purchase an item yet, but the first few bosses I got item level 110s drops.
Oh wow. Nice.
Yeah. So this is my recommendation. I actually told my friend who plays with us, Trevor, I said, do not buy a piece of loot yet because they drop loot.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to buy them. Just there's so many people there.
On top of the currency that they drop, which are like the Argent or the whatever.
To turn in. Well, it's the Scourge stones or whatever.
Oh, the Scourge stones that turn into Then you can buy gear. Some of the mobs, depending on what they are, will straight up drop loot. Will straight up stop loot.
They are, and what they also drop trinkets and rings, I believe, and you can't buy those.
No.
So and then there's the bag, the 34 slot bag.
Yeah, funny. We're talking about the 22 slot.
Yeah, and now we're on 34.
And the time that was released back in Burning Crusade, 22 was huge. It was like, whoa, what? That's an absurd. And the pricing of it was absurd. Nobody has that kind of money. It's ridiculous.
I was actually telling one of our guildies that I said, no matter what, every single character I have has the deep sea bag, which is a 30 slot bag, right? Doesn't matter which character it is. Every single person, all their bags are full. And I don't know why. Like, I don't need all that stuff in my bags. I was complaining about it because we were in Ice Crown and we were farming stuff, and I was like, what? I would always have to mount on my mammoth mount, the traveler.
Mammoth mount.
Anyways, my traveler's tundra mammoth.
Yes.
I would always have to like sell stuff because I have all these slots, but then for some reason my bags are full. I don't get it.
I just got an add-on that I had years ago, and
Is it bag on?
Not bag on, but it's one that just I can't remember it at the top of my head right now, but basically just sells your junk loot immediately.
Yeah.
It just vendors it immediately.
I used to have that too.
It's super useful. It's like every time I would go, and lately it was just one of those things that where every time I would play, I would go, and just like you, I'd be doing a lot of legacy raids, and so my bags are full of stuff, and I just go in and sell stuff. But there's always like 10 to 20 bag slots in a typical legacy run through a raid, old dungeon content or old raid content for me. That is just junk, the gray items.
Yeah.
Are just like a bunch of bledidays, like soft fur scraps, or
exactly,
bone pickings, or
just the random
discarded chicharron flakes. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just,
what we should do. The celebrities have the what's in your bag.
Oh yeah.
Like, we should literally
look in your WoW bag, like, what
and
kind
just
of crap?
read off what you have.
I mean, I'm just like, if you're an adventurer, it's like, what the hell was I doing? Like, picking,
right?
Why did I keep picking up these teeth? With that said, some junk sells for quite a bit. Oh, you know what it is?
Yeah.
Not the worst offender, because I don't think it's necessarily offending. But it does take up a lot of spaces when you open up random treasure chests, like just finding a random treasure chest out in Legion or finding in BFA. There's always a junk vendor item there that sells for like 10, 25, sometimes 100 gold. They're awesome sell, but they usually take up an entire slot because it's just the one type of them. You know what I mean? They do stack, but it's rare that you find multiple that stacks, where it makes it worth it. So you get this add-on, you talk to any vendor, immediately all your junk gets sold. Like, boop, done. So you don't even think about it. Hit the button to rearrange your bags, you're all good to go. So that saved me a lot of time, because I was just sitting there just going, just right clicking, looking over. We should talk about bag management one day, because that's a thing now.
It is.
Because a poorly handled bag is very annoying. Like an inventory that's disorganized and not, it takes up a lot of your time, I feel, like just looking for stuff.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Bags.
Oh, right. No. So so the one thing, okay, so obviously this is great for alts, right?
Uh-huh.
But the one thing that kind of annoys me is that you have to do the whole thing from the beginning.
Oh, again. Yeah.
I feel like if you have alts, you should just say,
like the class order hall.
Do you want to just kill Nathanos right now?
Yes.
Let's just go kill him.
Or do you want to do these 10 quests first that have you running around? Yeah,
just go get this report and then get this report and then go over here and kill these Scourge and then go back to Stormwind and then it's like, no, can we just go straight to the guy?
Speaking of Nathanos, let's talk about that awesome cinematic that we got with badass. Spoiler alert, people were talking about it, but hey, this is old news already. If you're listening to this is old news and you're behind the times. But we had a development with probably, I would consider him to be one of the main antagonists of the previous expansion, Nathanos Blightcaller. He's a character. If you're resubbing to WoW and you played back in the day, classic vanilla, Nathanos Blightcaller had a quest where you had to kill him if you were Alliance, or you had to help him out if you were Horde. And he was just an undead, like he looked like a typical undead model. He had 2 of these plague hounds with him all the time, and he was a son of a bitch to kill.
A beast. I mean, he still is. You know what I noticed is when I first did it, when I first logged on the very first day with my mage, it was easy to kill him. It wasn't very packed, like maybe 20 people. Yeah. But since then, because there are so many people there, I die like that fight 10 times. Yeah. Because there's so many people, so his health is, like I said, it scales, I think. So I was just like, what? This is annoying. With my mage, it took me one try. And then now with everyone else, I'm dying here.
I like it. And I like that because I feel like it forces the people there to have to play a little bit better. Like you can't just stand there.
Right.
And just
So people have been starting raids for it.
Yeah.
Because of that. So.
But with that said, fun fight. So now he's a character that's been in the game forever. He had an intriguing background. He was the first human man, first or only, I think, human man that was a part of the elite Elven Ranger Farstriders group. So you'd probably see that those NPCs around every once in a while. So he was the only human who was like basically a good enough hunter or a good enough whatever he was to be considered badass enough to be there. Then so he dies and he's raised up as one of the Banshee Queen's champions. I think that was his original title, was the Banshee Queen's champion. And then BFA, he gets an entirely new model. He looks like a dude. I think they explained it that's not his original body, that's a body of somebody else that he just is inhabiting. But he's definitely more of a supporting villain. He's in BFA for sure. He is like the assistant that's into everything for Sylvanas. That's like, basically moving the story along and doing all the dastardly deeds or what have you. So here we are. He's back home at the Marris Stead. They don't really explain why he's there. I mean,
he said something.
He's just there.
When you get there, he says something.
He says a thing, but I'm not really sure why he's back. Other than like maybe he's just acting as a distraction for whatever the heck's going on.
I'm currently playing it right now with my druid because I have not done it just because I wanted to just, So I'll let you know what he says. He says something though, like, "Oh, you found me."
Did you watch the cinematic?
He was hiding.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
I just watched. What do you mean?
The cinematic when he gets him and Tyrande.
Of course I did. The first day. I showed it to Robert. I was like, look, Robert, check it out.
Amazing. Anyway, spoiler alert, Tyrande. So once you beat Nathanos, it opens up the cinematic. Awesome cinematic. One of my favorite ones. By the way, it's worth mentioning, these are all
sick.
Yeah, this is the most badass that Tyrande has been. I love Tyrande as a character way more than Malfurion, her stupid druid husband, the overdramatic with the worst voice actor. Have you played through Legion? And then
doing that quest over and over again? Yes.
That's not even an exaggeration. It takes like 5 seconds for him to say Tyrande every single time.
I think she is out of his league. Anyways,
she's badass. And so I remember playing Warcraft 3 thinking Tyrande was dope. Like she was like a general of her troops, right? Like she's like leading the army, she's safeguarding the borders. Like for a long time in World of Warcraft, she's been so like in the behind the scenes kind of thing and not really taking a forefront. And now they have her in this whole new Night Warrior, basically like savage version of her. That's so good. Anyways, she's a guy that shoots an arrow, that light arrow of light coming out of nowhere, an arrow made of moonlight, slams into Nathanos, pinning him against his own barn. And then
you should explain, like, when you're fighting him, once you get him to a certain percentage on his health, then that's when it pops up.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So essentially, what happens is it's funny because it's like it's this funny chaotic battle when you're actually doing it. And then the cinematic's all like quiet, like and then like quiet. There's like nobody around, and then
we're like, where did we go? We're all gone. We're just kind of standing there, and it's just her. I think it's because we're in awe because she comes and helps towards the end, and it's like, ooh.
But yeah, basically like a good bad guy who's just talking mad shit right up until the very end. She's got a blade to his throat, and he's helpless. He's saying like, "Yeah, kill me. You're just gonna send." She's like
to his lady.
Yeah, Tyrande's in there. Oh, by the way, Tyrande's looking for vengeance for the burning of her hometown, of her home tree, Teldrassil, which happened at the beginning of BFA, which kind of got sidelined throughout the entire story. Now they're bringing it back, which is fine. So Tyrande's got personal beef against Sylvanas, but then at this point, who doesn't have personal beef against Sylvanas?
Who is also badass.
Who's also badass. So the one badass woman was looking to kill the other badass woman. And so Nathalis was like, yeah, you can kill me now, but she's already in the mall with the jailer. If you kill me, you're just going to send me right back to her, and everything's fine.
Yep.
So she says, okay.
Milady.
And so she totally does. In badass fashions, like probably cuts his throat.
Doesn't even look.
Doesn't even give him the courtesy of looking.
She's just looking straight ahead, and she's just like,
I'm kind of hungry. I'm going to get some pho.
She didn't even flinch. It was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty tight.
Pretty awesome. I really hope we see more of Taronda. I do hope she takes a more prominent role going forward in Shadowlands. By the way, on top of that too, Talia Bolvar, did you happen to...
She was there, yeah.
She was there, but she had a little dialogue. After you accept the quest, I forgot to mention this, she has a little dialogue with the people there, who is, again, Greymane, and I think somebody else. She's now just learning that her father is the new Lich King. And she's like, wait, Bolvar? Four Dragon? My dad is this guy that's perpetually on fire? What the hell is happening? And so it's kind of a humorous, it's sort of funny in that it's like these people have to explain all this storyline to this poor girl who is just fighting this all at once and through really sudden means. Like all of a sudden there's a Scourge invasion, and like now she's just finding out, oh, by the way, the leader of that Scourge, yeah, that's your dad, who you thought was dead this whole time.
But you see, he, like, that's kind of complicated because the reason why he became the Lich King was so that he can stop what's happening.
He is noble.
From happening.
Like he was noble about it. Like he took one for the team, basically. He took one for the team at the Wrathgate, and then he took another one. So he's like the ultimate good guy. This is a guy that should never buy a drink ever for the rest of his life, because people should see him and be like, oh yeah, you know why he's on fire? Because of us. We should buy him a drink. Like,
yeah.
So I think that's cool. I like Talia Four Dragon. I was gonna say Talia. I like Talia Bolvar. She's great.
Like, I really love that they have a lot of powerful women in the game.
I don't love, and I get this, and this is a problem with the Warcraft story in general. So, I mean, World of Warcraft was not meant to be World of Warcraft. Like, there wasn't supposed to be a World of Warcraft.
Right.
And these stories that they set up back in Orcs versus Humans were not supposed to have like this longevity and going forward. And so, but with that said, over time, the story of World of Warcraft, as convoluted as it has been pretty entertaining. Like, we're still here, we're still along for the ride, and I think that's really a big reason why we stick around with this particular MMO and not others, is because we just are invested in this world, in these races, and these champions and heroes and more. With that said, across 9 expansions, that's a lot of characters to introduce, a lot of things to juggle. So the World of Warcraft always has been the biggest offender of me, of like introducing really awesome characters like throughout an expansion and really highlighting them and making them like, oh, and you care about them, and then by the next expansion or two, you just like, poof, God, they're gone. And like, I understand that not everybody can have the spotlight all the time, but there are some like they're just waiting around. Like, so for the Horde side, Princess Talanji was like the main character for their side. They're basically their version of Jaina to a certain degree.
I'm gonna tell you, you have to roll a Zandalari druid.
The starting zone?
Dude, or
just what they look like.
You're a freaking dinosaur.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry, I just had to tell you. I messaged you. I was like, oh my God, the Zandalari druids, dude. Anyways.
I'm saying the upright horde is a big deal.
Yeah, you like that, yeah.
Upright, like standing straight up horde.
You're not like hunched over. Yeah,
hunched over all the time. I'm hunched over in real life. Like, I don't want I want my fantasy to be a big, strapping, muscular dude that like
No, I'm like sitting up straight.
What I was gonna say, but like Princess Talanji, what's gonna happen to her in Shadowlands? Maybe she has a story. I don't know, but I feel like she probably doesn't. So I'm glad that they're actually connecting Talia Four Dragon to Bolvar.
Yeah,
it would feel like I would like to say it's a probability that they're gonna expand on her role more a little bit as a Shadowlands, because he was he's got some stuff to play here, and hopefully he gets
for
a
sure.
remedy for being on fire constantly. Maybe somebody can help him out with that shit.
Yeah. That gives me an idea. Remind me
Okay.
of the thing I was telling you about earlier with my walking through the.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you feel about the whole event in general? So not for you, for your mains. It was definitely not for my main at all, because it's just like kind of.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even.
I'm not mad at it.
No, I think it's okay.
It's
I think
not
it's one of the
bad.
better pre-patch events than most others. I don't like. I wish there's been some criticism online about the fact that the bosses spawn, the rare NPCs basically spawn around Ice Crown in a predictable, scheduled manner every 20 minutes. It's like 20 minutes on the dot. And then
Are people complaining about that?
Yeah, because it just feel like it's just like, okay, you're just killing a thing.
It's like grinding,
and
right?
Moving, then killing a thing and moving. And I was like, for that, I'll have to agree, because even though, I almost made me feel like they did it too much, but like specifically in the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, when they made that like have the Black Empire invasion stuff going on, there's a lot of stuff to do in between. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of stuff to click. There's maybe a little bit too many mobs like condensed in one area, but there's always stuff to kill. Here it's like the mobs are spread out for the day, because there's daily quests involved with this too, where you kill this or that.
And then once you finish your dailies, right? That's all you do is run around and just kill the NPCs.
There's not really any treasure chest to find for fun.
That
you know what I mean?
makes
There's no other like little fun stuff to do. It's just kind of a stock standard. Okay, every 20 minutes there's going to be a rare spawn. Go kill it, and blah blah blah. So that's part that is a bit of a letdown. Also, I was expecting there to be some kind of plague or disease going around amongst the players. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because this happened during the very first Scourge event. It was like there was a plague of undeath that you can catch as a player, and then you'd have to go to certain NPCs to get cleansed, or you would turn into a zombie, and then you would run around and like bite people for I think like a minute, and then you would die, and then you.
Well, did you do that quest?
No, what quest? I thought I did all the quests.
So there's a quest. No, I guess I did it on my mage, right? And then because I logged on that day, and then I noticed that on my other alts I was doing different quests. That one I didn't do anymore. And so basically you turn into a zombie because you take this you're testing out this thing. So it's it's a potion, I think, or some sort. So you turn into a zombie, and then you're running around killing these things. Then there is an ability where you can infect people. Oh. So I was like, is this it?
I guess so.
Is it? But then you haven't done it. So since then, I've been logging onto my alts and trying to do that same quest. I haven't gotten that same quest. No, just my mage. She's the only one that did it. And also so it's like, so is this their version of, I don't get it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't get it either. That's a little bit confusing, because I was expecting something like that to be going on top of it as well. But yeah, I think it's fine. I got a sweet bow on my hunter off of.
Oh, me too. I got the same one.
Yeah, that Sentinel's recurve. Dude. Ooh, such a cool.
Hedge. Did Hedge tell you what happened to him?
He
got a blue.
He got a blue?
He got a blue, and it was some pole arm.
Just some random loot.
Yeah, he was like, I'm so pissed off. Like he did the quest. And he's like, I didn't even get that bow. And I was like, what do you mean? And he linked it, and he got a freaking blue. I was like, I didn't even know they were only, blues, or they were also blues. I thought it was just like I thought it was like a 110 epic item, right?
That's what I thought too.
But no, he got a blue polearm.
Well, if there's a consolation prize, I got it. So.
Oh my God, you didn't mention. So I'm watching the cutscene right now. As she walks slowly towards him, like that's pretty sick, by the way. She walks slowly towards him,
towards me,
and then his dogs come behind her.
Oh, that's right. She just annihilates them.
Annihilates them
like nothing, like moonbeams from nothing.
I'm gonna role play and be her.
Yeah, she's kind of awesome.
She's awesome.
Slow walking. Don't even look at the dogs. Just poof. And don't even break eye contact. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like she's
I
not
like
even
that.
looking at him. She's
Yeah.
looking up.
Tell
Like,
me.
she's not even like
She's thinking about what she wants for dinner.
she's thinking about Sylvanas. She wants Sylvanas.
She really does. Let's see. So where are you at with your alts? So I've got my Shadow Priest that I've been leveling up on and off, not as much. Real talk, it's cold in my office where my computer is. I've mentioned this before. It's freezing here. I'm getting a space heater, but that's my number one. That's my number one challenge. Right? There's always something.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just like because it gets like 40 degrees at night in this office.
It's
like I measured,
cold,
I was
yeah.
like, holy crap, it's cold in here. So, anyways, I'm getting a space heater so I could just play a little bit longer. But I've got my Shadow Priest to 38. That's going fast. Like I've only completed 2 zones of Legion, and that was from 10 to 38 now. And so
Are you playing multiple or just one at a time?
just one at a time right now.
Okay.
And then so I'm going to finish. My plan is I'm going to finish leveling up my Shadow Priest. Probably run him through some of that content that we're talking about just to get him geared up for the pre-expansion stuff. Definitely get a weapon at least off of Nathanos on my Shadow Priest. But then I also have that monk that I'd like to show up. But I decided that I'm going to replace my main paladin with a boosted Lightforged paladin. Like I am going to make that commitment to switch actors mid-season or in between seasons, just because I just like the way they look. They just
Why
so
don't
cool.
you just change your?
Oh, because they don't have because my regular Draenei doesn't have the Lightforged options. The Lightforged Draenei is so much better.
No. What I mean is, why don't you just do a race change? That's what I'm doing with my
money?
Druid. Oh, but you're boosting.
Yeah, no, I already have these
you still
boosts.
have your boosts.
I'm not using them
My
for
bad.
nothing. They're just
I
sitting there.
thought. Sorry, I forgot that you still have your.
They're like collecting dust. They're just like I have one from BFA and I have one for Shadowlands. So that's 2 characters I can boost. One to 48 and then one to 50.
So where I'm at right now is so in Dalaran I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 level 50s. And then I have a level 24 Death Knight, which I don't know if I'm actually going to play her. I'm not a fan. And then my level 10 Rogue, which is a Mechanome. And then my level 14 Warrior, which I want to play with you. As with your healer? Because you have a healer, right?
Yes, that's going to be the monk.
So mine's Coltarian and so is yours.
Yay.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I have not touched either one, the 10 and the other alts, obviously. Because I want to at least try and work on the gear first, like my alts. And like it's hard.
It is. It's because the thing that's like, it's hard because it's like so you can get gear during this pre-patch event. What they do is that they have the currency of the Argent commendations, but they only give out about 15 a day, I think. If you have the right amount, basically if you collect the amount of drops, because some of the mobs will drop these things called Scourge stones that you could trade in for these commendations. But
no, you get more.
What do you mean? Because so far on my hunter, I've been able to buy like maybe 3 pieces off of in the last couple of days, just from running the and each piece is about 15 commendations each, right? So I think I replaced my belt, pants, and shirt, and I think I felt like after I did all of my dailies. But then to be fair, I didn't spend that much time. I only maybe killed one of those rare spawns.
Oh, see, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, but if you're sitting there camping the rare spawns, you can get caught up real fast. I wasn't.
You can get it in one day.
I'm saying that I just jumped in, played for about 35 minutes, did all my. That's how long it took me to do all my daily quests to get like maybe about 10 or so combinations, and then I killed. During that time that I was doing that, a rare spawn had popped up, so I just flew over there, killed that, got those commendations off of them, and then bought a piece of gear off that way. So even if you only had like a little bit of time, it's still not a bad way to do it. It's just I don't feel like it's particularly interesting though. It's just like it becomes a grind like anything else. The most interesting parts of the event are what we just described, like leading up to it, the quest lines and kind of the lore behind it.
What I was doing, I was so they spawn. So I would finish my dailies, and then because they spawn, it's not every 20 minutes. So it's like say right now in 4 minutes, one will spawn, but then you can't kill it until like 2:04 or 2, you know what I
Right.
mean? And so what I would do
Because
is
it
once
announces it, like it announces
yeah, because it gives
zone-wide
people
a
you
chance to
can
get over
see
there.
it. Yeah. So what I would do is I would go and do something. Like I'd step away from my computer for 20 minutes and I just kind of like hang out with Eris or do something, and then I come back and then kill it and then go to the next one and then step away.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
that's a way to get.
what I would
That's
do.
a way to get like a currency in order to level up faster. If you had the time to just wait in between and do that. So, yeah. Death Rising. It's all right. I think it's okay.
It's all right. Yeah.
I think it's all right. Hey, dude. So let's introduce some anxiety to this podcast. Finally, after 10 episodes, we're gonna talk about professions. Yay! I think we brought it up in episode 1 and kept pushing off the discussion, but I wanted to talk about professions because to me, professions are what separate, I think, MMOs as a genre from other just like open world exploration games, right? The exploration, the questing, the leveling up, that's all like stock standard. But what really sets that's pretty much stock standard for any role playing game. And what sets apart any kind of multiplayer is this, or the professions. And what I mean by that is that it's something that's not part of the main game, right? You could just totally, if you wanted to, not even touch profession for years and years, and won't. If it doesn't matter to you, it doesn't matter. But to me, professions add a level of complex interaction to your experience because it invariably leads into talking about the economy of a game. And that's very much an alive thing. An economy in an MMO reflects the same principles as an economy in real life. Maybe that's a little bit more simplified rules of saying that, but certainly the mathematics apply. Like basically, if there is a super rare item that everybody needs, that's in high demand, you can sell it at a premium. If for some reason Blizzard decided to increase the drop rate on that rare item, and then there's suddenly more flooding the market, you will see within minutes or within hours, if not days, like the price of that object coin. This basic economic principles apply, and that leads people to play the game in that way. There's people who just play the auction house simply because, but they have to use. But in order to do that, a lot of times you rely on people with certain professions to do things. And I remember when I first started playing this game, I was like, "What? You can sell things in this game? You can wait. So you're saying that in my adventure, I can kill an animal, skin it, and I could use that leather to make items that I can. That's like real life. That's incredible. That whole concept to me was.
You have a job.
Yeah, it was super just blew my mind at the time. And I recall my very first character was a orc hunter that was a skinner and leather worker. And the first time I sold a stack, it wasn't even on the auction house because I had no idea how to use auction house. It was just somebody had sent out a tell asking for leather. You mean
or trade chat when people were actually using it for trade? That?
Yeah. Back in the good old days, or people like when the game was new, and I sold my first stack of light leather for 50 silver. I was so excited. I was like, dude, I just made hella money. I could buy all these abilities now. I'm so rich.
Silver.
I'm so rich.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening now is just that over the years, professions are cool, and there's a bunch of different crafting. There's crafting and gathering professions. They've only introduced maybe, I want to say 2 or 3 professions in the entire lifespan of World of Warcraft from the original ones that came at release. With that said, I feel like professions have over the years just kind of been blah. You know what I mean? They always feel like an afterthought. But I don't know if you have noticed, but there's definitely going to be a big. It seems like in Shadowlands, professions is getting a really big refresh to the point where it looks like it's going to be like a whole active kind of like participation point of the game now. So, but what are your thoughts, Michelle? Professions in general. What do you have a favorite profession?
Ooh, good question. I love engineering actually.
Yeah,
My
that's the fun
mage.
one. That's the one where you get fun toys.
Right, and you can make. You know how mounts can wear shoes now?
Yes.
So engineers make. I think engineers make the floaties, but then I
Those are my
believe.
favorite. I have those on all my characters. The floaty inflatable
Isn't
mount
that
shoes.
awesome?
Yeah. Makes it so your mount can walk on water.
Yeah, but then there are other professions that can make certain ones for the mounts. I'm not too sure because I really just work on my engineering more than anything, because it's fun. Like the mounts that you can make, like the what is it? The Blingtron. Like they have so many different.
Yes, the auto repair bots.
Yeah.
The gliders.
Anything, even bombs. Like if you want
bombs, grenades.
if you want to make grenades and stuff. But that's my favorite. I think.
I feel like engineering is one of the only. That to me has been consistently one of the only. That's not a job that I got back up. That's not a profession that you want if you're interested in making money. It never has been.
No. It's very expensive.
It's very expensive. I remember being back in the day in Classic too. Like you were an engineer and this is when gold was hard to come by. It was like a commitment of time and money. So you yourself either were also a miner and gathering ore and smelting all that and making things yourself. But invariably you always had to get materials from other professions that were expensive to make your stuff. And you can never really make anything that was meant to make money for you. Like engineering wasn't something that you were like, oh, we need engineers because we need them to craft so-and-so. Like you could sell like a thing, but they were super useful. They had the jumper cables that if you were a DPS class and you had goblin jumper cables that worked 50% of the time where you might be able to save the raid from a wipe. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Or just you'd be the engineer with a repair bot. Especially if your raid group was wiping all the time, but back then you'd have to port all the way back to the city, get repaired, and then come running back into the dungeon. That could take a full wipe. Could literally take another half hour just to get everybody back into the same position again after doing repairs. So if you had a repair bot as an engineer, you're like a godsend.
Yeah.
But engineering is like I feel like of all the professions throughout all the years has been the one that's maintain the level of fun and stuff to do. Like it's always interesting being an engineer. Whereas, you run into the problem with say blacksmithing, where the appeal to blacksmithing back in vanilla to me and was that you can make gear that was comparable to, you could make the gear that got you ready for raid, got you raid ready stuff. You know what I mean? And there's always a market for that because because it was harder. Basically, it was much harder to get to be part of a raiding guild. So there's always like a market for people who are wanting to get to that point. Plus, there's only one raid difficulty to begin with. It was like if you wanted to be serious about raiding, you'd have to go and fork over money if you yourself weren't a blacksmith to go buy this gear on the auction house. Same with leather workers. Same with leather workers had the armor kits. And the patches for a while that they could sell as well. But now over time, it's like the gear that you get for free, like from an emissary world quest or something like that, is oftentimes way better than anything you can craft. So there's no incentive to be a blacksmith.
Yeah.
And same with actually, and that's kind of where like it fell off for me because I used to really I was a jewel crafter for a while where I'd make the different jewels. Too. That was really profitable for a while. Like but I will say this, it was super complicated. The entire jewel like how many different colored jewels were they? Remember going through the auction house and trying to find all the different names and descriptions of them and like, okay, there's just so many. And then, and now it's like been simplified, but it's also kind of like taking the fun out of being a jewel crafter as well. I think you can make rings for yourself.
You can make rings. They have some, I want to say the rings are the BOP. I think the only ones. But I remember the same thing as so what I did was like for my paladin, she was like the miner.
Yeah.
which I now think about it should be the druid. You can pick up, you can mine, you can pick up herbs or whatever in flight form.
That's why everybody. That's what the all multi-boxers were druids. That they were all. So you'd see a stack of ravens, all flying to the same flower and then taking off and going to a different flower.
But it was like just kind of frustrating, like having to, for the jewel crafter, having to get the ore, then you prospect the ore, and then you hope you get the most popular gem, you know, to get the whatever it is that they needed at the time. Whatever.
Burning Crusade, I bought so many stacks of adamantium ore just
so you can
just to try to get like a purple, because sometimes you get like a purple gem, epic gem, and cut it, and that makes up, so you can sell that for so high back in the day. And that was fun. So, it's not fun.
You know what I did too is I was when I was the GM we were raiding was I made potions. And I would make them for the guild and put them in the guild bank and then like charge them way less. Like, cause you know, when you prep for raid, people will go, it's super expensive. People charge an arm and a leg, you know, for this stuff.
Again, that's the point of professions, is that you can interact with that side of the game, right? Like a very complex mathematical, but it's almost its own mini game in and of itself, where you're trying to maximize profits.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've done it all. But I want to say just my favorite, like I said, is the engineering because it's expensive. Like he said, do not get into it if you don't have the gold to spend money, but like she can make some pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
Always cool stuff. But have you done any research into how professions are
for the Shadowlands?
In Shadowlands, it's much more interesting. So
I don't want to.
I don't. Well, let me run it down for you, for all you who might be curious. So here's where things get interesting. So it feels like for the first time in a while, professions are certainly for the first time through BFA. So the trend lately has been, so in Legion you had weapons that you could level up, right? So you never had to worry about gearing up weapons. You never had to worry about crafting weapons. Weapons were not a concern at all in BFA or in Legion. And then in BFA, you had a necklace that you did not have to worry about. Like, so that's an item that jewel crafters no longer can make, because there's no point, because you have this necklace that's on you the entire expansion that levels up or what have you. And then you have the cloak. Can anybody make cloaks?
Yeah.
Tailors, right? Tailors make cloaks. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then you have a cloak. That's another piece of thing that you can't really interact with. So now, in Shadowlands, we don't have that. And in fact, we also have a system where there's legendary items that are back that work similar to how Legion was, where there's like a bunch of legendary items around that you can get. You can carry up to 2 at a time, and they had like these super cool, crazy like effects that it does to your character. Now you can actually craft legendaries in Shadowlands, and this involves getting crafting material. So it doesn't matter what your profession is, or what class or thing. Every character has the ability to craft their legendaries. But here's where profession comes in. Is like, in order to start though, you need a base level item. So say I have my paladin, and I want to create a legendary plate, something or another, right? I would have to get a plate base item that's only made by blacksmiths. So immediately, blacksmiths have something that they can make and throw into the auction house that'll be persistent throughout the entirety of the expansion, because everybody's always going to need those base items. And then as the expansion goes on and patches come out, and then item levels usually get higher, you can take the blacksmiths can just add more materials to those same base items, and then raise their item level so that it stays current with the current expansion, which I think is brilliant. And so the same thing with leather workers, same thing with tailors. They make all the base armor items that are necessary in order to start crafting a legendary for all players. So immediately, those professions are getting a big boost, like right away. So like, if you wanted to make money, you could just be the dude that's just cranking out blacksmithing like base items all the time, like constantly. Just sell it constantly, which is awesome because it's been a long time. They're also bringing back a few of the buffs. So leather. Do you remember the leather armor kits?
Yeah.
That you used to.
You can't use them anymore?
They haven't been around for a long time. Now they're coming back, but instead of being a permanent buff, they're going to be like a temporary, like 2 hour buff at a time. So it's like taking like almost like a extra flask or something like that, which is kind of cool. So now leather workers have something to make that are consumables that will give you a tangible buff kind of thing. I'm not sure what inscription is getting. Inscription has always been weird to me. I never quite figured out how.
I tried it out when they first
but
released
even then,
it,
like the whole glyph system is gone. Like it's not glyphs anymore. Like I don't know what they do. I don't know what they're doing.
You can make scrolls.
What did scrolls do?
You don't know what scrolls are?
No. What do they do?
Yes, you do. You get them as drops sometimes.
Yeah, but I used to get
buff.
I used to get them in like my level 10 characters, like going through.
Oh, as in
zones.
right now? I don't know. I don't know what. I think I asked you that question. Remember? I'm like, what? Because we were talking about professions one day, and I did say like, what do they do now?
Inscriptionists, what do you do? Please write in to resubbedpodcast@gmail.com. Like, I'm not sure. I bought some stuff from Inscriptionists to change cosmetics of like how my guy does things. Like I know that there's a glyph that for my paladin I bought it. So like when I use my avenging crusader or whatever, like my wings, it's usually 2 pairs of wings. Mm-hmm. I use a glyph now that makes it four short wings that come out. That's all that I've interacted with Inscription with this entire expansion. It's just that. So I don't know what's going to happen in Shadowlands for that. So yeah, please write in. I am curious to know how does an inscriptionist make money? Because the whole point of these professions is at some way to interact with the economy. I would say to a lesser degree engineering. I think engineering is the most, I would call it selfish of the professions, because it's all really towards your own character. But it's fun. They're fun utility things that like are way more convenient to be an engineer. And I think it's cool to have a profession that's like that. With that said, what professions do I like? I like fishing. Did I ever tell you that?
Oh, right.
I have spent hours fishing in this game. Like on my old account, I had like crazy achievements of just sitting there fishing.
Did I tell you about that I'm almost exalted with the anglers?
Are you?
Because I want the mount. The mount. So I would go there and do all the mount. Fishing dailies.
I had that mount back in the day. I had
really?
Anglers, the water strider mount.
Yes,
so great.
So awesome.
I love fishing. I love cooking. I love cooking in real life, and I love cooking as a profession. I think cooking is cooking and fishing are my favorite professions in
Can we
any
talk
MMO.
About the mechanome?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the racial ability.
That when I know I mentioned to you when Hedge was on the show, and you guys were like, "What?" But like mechanome basically has every single tool you need for all professions.
So what does that mean though?
Isn't that awesome?
So how does that translate?
So if you need a cooking, here, let me switch. Yeah. He is it or something like that. Like I'm doing a quest right now. That's why I can't switch over.
Are you saying that other people can use the mechanome?
I'm going to switch over and let's see.
I'm on my character and you're on your mechanome. I can use you to cook my food.
Possibly. We should try it out.
It's awesome. You're like a walking stove.
And then you don't need rogues to lockpick anymore.
So do you need, you could just lock. So you had the lockpicking skill. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
So you can, and it scales, right? So whenever you level up, then that levels up. Your lockpicking skill. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I want to say, like, I don't think you need, it's almost like they're like a Swiss Army knife.
That's amazing.
It's a robot.
I still haven't run Mechagon. All right. So I'm going to run Mechagon.
You know what?
Between this episode and next.
He wants to run it too.
Okay.
Because I think he also asked me, he was like on a scale of 1 to 10 or something. He said, how hard is that dungeon? And I was like, to be honest, honestly, it's one of the most annoying ones because
all right. You need somebody that I don't see.
Yeah.
Guild that I still have yet to interact. Actually, the other night I saw one person on that I had not seen before that I knew was not you and I knew was not Hedge. And I was like, hey, I forgot, and nobody replied back. I was like, all right, well, I gotta go.
Oh, okay. You're like, alrighty, see ya.
Guild, if you guys need to run Mechagon, I do. I need to run it just to unlock, because now I'm fascinated. I decided I wanted to create a Mechanome Warlock, if they can do that, or a Mechanome Mage, one or the other. I think it's funny to be a cyborg magic user.
Caster.
I think that's kind of cool.
That's funny.
I think it's funny.
Yes, do it because they're pretty cool. My monk is awesome, and then I'm interested. I told you because of, well, my rogue is a monk as well. So
that's right. Yes,
we'll see.
That's
so
right.
I'll have a monk and a rogue.
Wait, your rogue is a monk as well?
I mean, no, as a Mechanome.
Mechanome as well. Yeah. Gotcha. Let's see. What else other professions that I like? Did you ever get into archaeology? Archaeology.
I did.
So boring.
It's boring. It takes forever. Boring. And then it's so like you have to follow these things, right? To dig. But then it's like you only get one piece. Yeah. So then I'm like, oh, so I have to do this how many times to get that?
I like the lore behind. Like I loved uncovering the little lore pieces because that stuff's fun. Like
I liked that. That's why I wanted to do it. And honestly, I did it on. I want to say it's on my druid. Let's just double check. But I think I did it. No, it's not. But there was something that I wanted for my druid. I think that it could be like some transmog thing. I don't remember. But when I was doing it, I was just like, I don't think I can do that. Like I don't think I can. Spend the time to go use these things to point me to the right direction and then get one piece.
It takes forever. It's just so tedious.
Yeah.
Drop the thing. Oh, it's over here.
Yeah.
Walk. Drop the thing.
Are potions going to be a big thing again? Were they in BFA?
I don't know. It's got that weird 3-minute timer now, right? All the potions.
Even the flasks?
You can't pre-pot
you mean the flasks?
anymore. No, the potions. So it's like there's no such thing as pre-potting anymore before a fight, because it doesn't matter if you're in combat or not in combat or out of combat. Every time you use a potion, it's just a flat 3-minute timer period. So that kind of got a weird thing to it, and nobody's rated, or at least maybe not. Well, I don't know. I don't really follow like.
Actually, I did use a flask. I did use a flask. When I was doing something, I forget. Oh, Nyalotha.
Yeah, I did enjoy being an alchemist. I had a warrior that was an alchemist, and it was around the time of Cataclysm. And I should have, when I still had him and was interested, I should have tried to make that mount, that alchemist where you can turn yourself into a dragon.
I know. I like that one. It kind of looks like the Infinite Time Weaver kind of.
Yeah. I wish I'd taken the time to do that. And
the
then
sandstone.
I remember thinking back in the day that tailors had that awesome. Basically, if you're a profession and you have a mount that you can craft, you should do it. I think. Oh
yeah, I have the carpet.
The carpet's dope. Jewel crafters have those awesome jeweled like panthers that they can make, which I think are really awesome.
I haven't done that yet, but yeah, cool. I want that too.
What do you call that? Oh, I was so mad at myself. I was a leather worker in Legion, and I had the mount. I had the quest to. What was it? I had the quest to get the recipe for the moose mount that you can get, and it involves chasing the stupid ghost moose all around High Mountain.
That you can't get anymore, right?
You can't, and I was stuck on that quest because I could never complete it because you would always go this. You're supposed to catch it or something like it was like kind of like a mini game, and I could never. It was like bugged or something like for me. And
it's a rare, right?
Hell, I was like, and I couldn't get it to work, and then like. I don't have that anymore, so I'm upset. So, my recommendation to you out there: if you can make a mount with your profession, do it. Do it while you can because it's kind of fun.
They take it away.
Do it before you take it away. Oh, the Goblin Shredder mount or the Sky Golem. Those are the best.
Yeah.
Those things you can stay mounted, and just like a druid, you can stay mounted and harvest, pick flowers, and I think you can just pick flowers. I don't know if you can mine.
Yeah, when we were in what's that place that we hate so much? The underwater.
Vajir?
Yes. I would see so many of those.
Yeah.
Those guys going around in the goblins and just picking the and I forget what it was. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Picking seaweed?
The flower. No, it's not seaweed. It was very popular because I think you used it in a flask.
Oh,
It's rare.
shoot.
It's called anthid or something like that.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, back in the
I
day.
forget.
Backs in the day. Let's see what's going on. So we got 2 more weeks till Shadowlands. Today's the 15th. Shadowlands releases. Oh, not even 2 weeks, huh? Like 1 week, huh?
Dude, I can totally make a Ruby Panther.
You should make a Ruby Panther.
I'm just staring at the I'm staring at the items that you need, and I'm like, I think I can get these.
Do you have a jewel crafter?
Duh.
Which one? Oh, do you have
my mage is max level jewel crafting and engineering.
So for
Except
my most
engineering's almost
recent characters made, since we started playing again, the only on my main paladin, I had him on gathering professions for gathering purposes, for leveling purposes, and also to sell that stuff. And then I also was like, oh, I should level up cooking while I'm with him. And then I was like, it's such because all the mats you could just buy the mats like from all the different NPCs. It was like it's an investment of like a couple thousand gold just to get your thing up. And I was just like, why? And it just struck me. I was like, it was one of those learning moments where I was like, it was almost a habit of me to just immediately, okay, well now I got to work on my profession because that's my thing to do, having max everything. And I was just like, wait a minute, I'm at the end of expansion. I'm not raiding. I don't really have that much time.
Why would you do it? Yeah.
I don't even have that much gold. What's the point of this? And the fact
that I have this feeling of completion.
Exactly.
This is just, that.
But to me, it's like a false feeling of having to do that. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to. And honestly, once I made that decision, I felt happier for it. I was like, okay, that's one thing I don't have to worry about. Because you don't need it. Now in Shadowlands, I'm for sure going to be making shadow food all over the place, or ghost food, or whatever it is. And I'm going to be looking for whatever rare recipes that there are for that. That's going to be fun. But I think like professions are only fun during the actual active time of the game.
I have a question for you. Who are you going to start with Shadowlands?
Paladins,
who are you going to play?
For sure. And this is why I want to buff that, or this is why I want to boost that Lightforge one, because I want him to be the main focus. I want to see him in all the cinematics and like doing cool shit in Bastion, because I feel like a Lightforge makes more sense than a regular Draenei in Bastion.
I think for me, because I'm just so attached to my mage, because she's my baby. Like, I think I'm going to start with her. And plus, like I said, like she's basically max level with all I don't even think it doesn't even really matter anymore, but like she's max level cooking, max level, like her professions.
She's already up there, yeah.
So it's like, might as well just do.
By the way, if
first.
you're coming back to the game, you don't need to start all the way from level cooking 1 anymore. Yeah. So every expansion has its own basic profession leveling system. So you just start with that expansion's recipes and everything like that. You don't have to start with the very first one in classic, and then it's no longer considered like blacksmithing all the way across all the expansions. It's just called blacksmithing specifically for Shadowlands blacksmithing, or Shadowlands gathering, or Shadowlands inscription, or whatever. You just need to worry about the current content, which is a good move on Blizzard's part, so that you don't have to stay current on it. Back in the day, you had to. That was ridiculous. In order to get, so from, I think it was definitely from vanilla to Burning Crusade. In order to get the Burning Crusade recipes, you had to be maxed out on the vanilla recipe. So you had to be max engineering at 300 before you can make any of the stuff starting in BC. In Burning Crusade, and then it would carry on through Wrath of Lich King too. So now that shit stopped, because it was annoying to have to level up through nothing just to get, again, doing busy work up until you get to the point where it's fun. They eliminated that. So just jump into whatever professions that feel right for you.
I have to head out soon.
Oh, okay.
Because we're actually looking for a house. I just logged on to I wanted to tell you what it is exactly for the gnome. So the profession racial. So it's called Mastercraft, and you function as a personal blacksmithing anvil, a cooking fire, and mining forge. In addition, your limbs include every professional tool.
That's so cool. So you can be whatever profession and not have to worry
So
about.
someone can straight up cook on you, like you said. You can stand right next to me
No,
and
come
just
here.
cook your
I need
food.
I got this hot pocket.
Or let me just build my shit on you. Sorry.
Let me just hold on. Let me use your.
I need to build my.
I need an anvil.
I need. And you're like. And
Bend
I'm just
over. I
standing
need
here
an
like,
anvil,
woo!
and then
Yeah.
also, I need a hammer. Let me take your hand. Let me take your hand, turn it into a hammer.
Can I borrow your hand really
Can
quick?
I beat you with your own hand and make something useful?
I think
appreciate
that's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome.
And then,
That's
of course,
kind
there's the skeleton pinky, which allows you to open locked chests and
skeleton
doors.
We need more locked doors.
You can unlock doors.
We need more. You know what? I'm going to say it right now. We need more locked chests. Like, we just need more occasions to have. Like, that's like the most fantasy lore role playing things. You come across a vault or a safe in the wall, but it's locked. You try to cast a spell to open it. It stays locked. It's magically protected. Oh wait, there's a rogue in your group. You can pick it. That's the most fantasy thing.
Here's your mechanism.
Yeah, here's your mechanism.
If the rogue can't do it.
Yeah, awesome. A mechanome can. That's amazing. That's great lore. All right, dude. Let's get this one since you got.
Anywho, yes, I got.
Since you got the heart out, let's wrap this one. Anywho, guys, thank you for joining us for episode 10 of the Resubbed podcast. Please write us. We'd love to hear from you guys at resubbedpodcast@gmail.com. Michelle, you're getting your computer soon.
Tuesday.
You're gonna be streaming soon. So Michelle and I are probably gonna be streaming together a lot. We were just talking before the show. You should listen to us on Serious Part-Time Gamers because I recently talked about jumping back into Hearthstone again, and that is a fun game for us to stream. We actually played a game yesterday of Battlegrounds together. We both got in top 4. So yeah.
So just so you know, with Battlegrounds, when you're top 4, you win.
Mm-hmm.
You actually are considered, like, it'll be considered as a win.
Yeah, it was definitely one of that was fun. First time playing with your friend, and then you guys get up on the winning bracket already.
Fun.
That's good times.
Yeah. But instantly, remember I messaged you? I was like, "Ooh, I got some crap heroes to pick from." But it worked out. But still, like, Battlegrounds, you guys got to play it. It's fun.
Yeah. So let's see. Michelle Vera 23 on Twitch TV soon. We're getting that TM soon. Also, Michelle, you can find her on her YouTube channel, Michelle True. So just look up her name, True, as in like it's the real deal.
True. Yeah.
True. You can find me at twitch.tv/ramen_piledriver. I've been streaming a little bit more still on towards like later into that, but I think I'm carving out some time to be able to stream during a day too, during sane hours to see if I can get some people that way. I streamed some No Man's Sky last night and I promptly fell asleep. I'm like, while I was in the middle of playing, I was like, this is my go-to game to just relax. And then sure enough, I'm like, I wake up like 30 minutes later, like, oh my God, sleeping this whole time.
I feel like I've done that before.
You can also find me on Serious Part-Time Gamers. That's the other podcast that me and Michelle do as well. It has its own feed. I think we're going to incorporate a little bit more pop culture stuff into that as well, like things that we're watching, movies, TV, as well as general video game talk. So if you want us to hear us talk about other stuff other than World of Warcraft, you can find us there. That's Serious Part-Time Gamers. And then finally, I also have a third podcast that I'm a part of. I host with my wife and my best friend Eric called Inside Cradle. For all you video game fans, our next episode, we're going to be talking about WWE and the recent decision to try to ban their players from playing Twitch. It's kind of been a big controversy, so there's definitely crossover between video games and wrestling there, and it's been making some news because it's bringing up actually quite a bit of some important political figures are getting involved in this discussion too, because it just seems like wrestlers as a whole don't seem to have a whole lot of rights as workers. And now it's starting to affect their way to be able to play video games too, which is crazy to me. Either way, you can find us there. That's called Inside Cradle Podcast. You can find us wherever podcasts are found. And with that, Thank you so much for listening to our show, to episode number 10. We'll be back next week with episode number 11. And hopefully we should have some pictures and stuff to show off for you for our new t-shirts and what have you. But yeah, we're definitely moving forward. Michelle, yeah, here's to episode 10 and to, 10,000 more after this. But in the meantime,
cheers.
Have a great day. We'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye. Why not that?
Wow.